Welcome to this short video on Wheatstone Bridge. Wheatstone Bridge basically used for the measurement of resistance, unknown value of resistance, normally used for medium value resistance up to 100 kilo ohm. So if there are cases where we have to find out the value of an unknown resistor. In such cases, that unknown resistor you can be measured by using a Wheatstone bridge. So let us look at what is the structure of a Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge basically consisting of a 4-arm bridge. So it is the normal connections or the nominal conventional type of connection is like there are 4 arms here, and these 4 arms, just for our convenience, we are just marking as A, B, C, D. So there are 4 arms, and each arm consisting of one particular resistor here. So in this particular example, we are connecting Rx, which is unknown resistance, which is connected in the node, in the branch AB, and the R3 is connected in the branch BC. R4 is a resistor which is connected in CD, and R2 is a variable resistor which is connected in AD. So as I have mentioned, Rx is the unknown resistor. R3 and R4 are the fixed known resistors whose values are known, and R2 is a standard variable resistor whose value that can vary, and also you can note down the reading of the resistance directly from the device here. Now between B and D, we connect a device called a detector, and this detector measures the presence of current here. So in case if there is any minute difference in the voltage between B and D, that indicates that flows, that allows some current to the center zero galvanometer, and that galvanometer will indicate some reading. So even a minute amount of current that can be detected by D here. So if there is a the voltage across B is perfectly equal to D, then the net voltage difference is exactly zero. That is the only condition when the detector will indicate zero. So we are expecting 3 basic conditions here, as I have mentioned earlier, that it is a center zero galvanometer, because at normal conditions, or if there is no voltage is applied, or is like disconnected point, situation, unwired situation, then you will get a null reading or zero reading. So if depending upon the potential, for example, in this particular example, if VD is greater than VC, you may get a deflection of the galvanometer, something like this. And if VD is less than VC, you will get a opposite direction here. So the it can be used for measurement of current in both the directions. And particularly in this particular experiment, what is required is we want to reach a condition of VC is equal to VD. Such cases, we can say that this particular bridge is balanced. So how to establish that balance condition? The balance condition can be achieved only by a variable element in this particular circuit, and that variable element is called R2 here. Okay, R2 is a variable element. So how to do the experiment? We have to make the connections, and Rx is the unknown value of resistors that is to be calculated, and R3, R4 known resistance, and R2. And you have to apply the power. It's a DC power, because this circuit kind of circuit is also called a DC bridge, because it is powered by a DC source. Right. Okay. Then what you have to do is we have to change the value of the R2 such that or until the galvanometer indicate zero deflection. So you have to adjust it in a step-by-step manner, in a finer manner, so that the galvanometer will indicate a zero reading here. Okay. Now let us look at the analysis of the circuit. To analyze the circuit, I think it is better to read through the circuit in this particular fashion. So what I have done, I just flip the circuit, and instead of these 2 nodes, actually A and B, I just made I just stretched the 2 nodes, so that we have the circuit is look different actually, and also we can some basic principle that can be applied to simplify the problem here. So what you can find that between in the branch AB we have Rx. So we have a branch AB. So this is AB, which is Rx. And between AD we have R2, between DC we have R4, and between CB we have, or BC we have R3, and between D and B the detector is connected here. So exactly the circuit will be the same actually. All right. So let us look at how to solve this particular problem. So the advantage of this particular circuit, that we can apply directly the voltage divider rule. So as we have already studied earlier, that the voltage divider equation, if you are interested to find out the voltage which is divided among the input voltage, which is divided among two known value resistors, that is calculated by the equation V2. If you are interested in V2, which is across R2, it is calculated by the equation the applied voltage multiplied by R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Same way, if you are interested in V1, that is calculated by the equation V into we are interested in R1, so that for R1 divided by R1 plus R2. So this is a very what you call fundamental law, and if we apply this fundamental law, exactly our circuit will be like this, because we have got one branch here, one particular section here, and there is another section here. So by applying this particular rule two times, we'll be able to find out the voltage across VD and voltage across VB. If you want to calculate VD, we have to apply this is between R4 and R2, and we are interested in the voltage across R4. And if you want to calculate the voltage across at B, then we have to find out the voltage across R3 here. So this can be calculated by using the equation here. So VD can be calculated by the equation V multiplied by R4 by R4 plus R2, and VB is equal to V into R3 divided by R3 plus Rx. Now, at balance condition, already we said that T indicates 0, so that VD is equal to VB. Now, what we can do is we can apply the balance equation. We can apply both equations. We can equate the equations, both the forms. Then we will find the equation in this particular form, that VD is equal to V into R4 divided by R4 plus R2, and VC is equal to V into R3 divided by R3 plus Rx. So now we know that this VD and VC are same, because at balance condition, we already said that VD is equal to VC, so that these two equations can be equated. So if you equate the equation, these two terms will be getting cancelled. Then what we'll have, we'll have R4 divided by R4 plus R2 on the LHS side, and R3 divided by R3 plus Rx on the RHS side. Now what we can do, we can cross multiply these two. So if you cross multiply these two things, these two terms, what we'll get, R4 into R3 plus Rx and R3 into R4 plus R2. Then you expand the bracket, and if you expand the bracket, we'll have R4 R3 R4 Rx, and the same manner we have R3 R4 and R3 R2 here. Okay, we'll find that in these two terms are common. We can cancel out these two terms, and finally we can calculate the value of unknown value Rx. Rx is equal to R2 R3 divided by R4 here. So this is the standard form. Rx is equal to R2 divided by R2 R3 divided by R4 here. And this particular form, that can be applicable only if you have a circuit which also forms the same network connections. In the sense, you must have Rx, R3, R2, and R4 in the same pattern. Okay, always you remember this particular point, because if you change the orientation or the position of these resistors, the result also will change. The standard form also will change. So one important point is that always the resistors R2 and R3, they are opposite, and Rx and R4 are opposite actually. So if you follow this particular pattern, the circuit connection, then you will end up with what you call this particular relation, Rx is equal to R2 divided by R2 R3 divided by R4. Okay, hope you understand the basic concept. Thank you for watching this video.